Have you ever wondered why chopping onions feels like going into battle with your own kitchen? One moment you're slicing away, the next your eyes are stinging, tears are streaming down your face, and you're squinting just to see what you're doing. It's not just bad luck or coincidence. Onions are chemically engineered to fight back, and those tears you shed are the direct result of a fascinating chain of chemical reactions happening right under your nose. Today we're going to break down the exact science of why onions make you cry, and why this simple vegetable has the power to turn a peaceful cooking session into a watery mess. Body. Onions belong to the allium family, which also includes garlic, leeks, and shallots. All of these plants share a clever survival strategy. They defend themselves not with thorns or toxins, but with chemistry. Deep inside the onion's cells are special sulfur-containing molecules and enzymes. While the onion is whole, those compounds are kept separate and harmless. But the moment you cut into an onion, you rupture its cells. It's like breaking a barrier between two locked rooms. The once separated molecules rush together, and the chemistry of irritation begins. The key player here is an enzyme called allanase. Once released, it gets to work on sulfur-based compounds found in the onion, specifically amino acid sulfoxides. The main one is called syn-propanethial-L-cysteine sulfoxide. When allanase and these sulfoxides meet, they form a cascade of new sulfur compounds. One of those intermediate products quickly rearranges into something particularly troublesome: syn-propanethial-S-oxide. This chemical is what scientists call the lacrimatory factor, literally, the thing that makes you cry. Syn-propanethial-S-oxide is a volatile gas, which means it escapes easily into the air the moment it's created. As you lean over your cutting board, that gas drifts upward and reaches the surface of your eyes. Your eyes, of course, are covered in a thin layer of moisture to protect and lubricate them. When the gas dissolves into that moisture, it reacts with the water to form a weak sulfuric acid. And sulfuric acid, even in tiny amounts, is irritating. The acid stimulates the sensory nerves on the surface of your eye, sending an emergency signal to your brain that something dangerous is happening. In response, your lacrimal glands go into overdrive, flooding your eyes with tears in an attempt to wash the irritant away. That's why your vision blurs, and why no amount of blinking seems to stop the flow until the gas dissipates. What's fascinating is that this defense mechanism evolved not to punish chefs, but to deter animals and pests. For an onion sitting in the ground, being bitten into by an insect, rodent, or even a curious human is a threat. By releasing a stinging gas, the plant discourages predators from eating it. It's a survival strategy encoded into its biology, and it has worked well enough to persist through millions of years of evolution. The fact that humans still eat onions in spite of the tears shows how much we value their flavor. But why onions in particular? After all, garlic and other alliums don't make us cry in the same way. The difference lies in a special enzyme unique to onions called lacrimatory factor synthase. This enzyme takes the sulfur compounds produced by allanase and specifically redirects them into forming syn-propanethial-S-oxide, the tear-inducing chemical. Garlic lacks this enzyme, which is why it produces strong odors but doesn't send you running for tissues. Onions, however, are specialists in weaponizing chemistry against your eyes. Scientists have been so intrigued by this phenomenon that they've studied it in detail for decades. In fact, researchers in Japan once genetically engineered an onion to shut down the lacrimatory factor synthase gene. The result was a so-called no-tear onion. Interestingly, these modified onions still had their characteristic flavor, but didn't release the irritating gas. For those who hate crying in the kitchen, that experiment proved the science could, in theory, give us onions that are gentle on the eyes. Still, most of us are left dealing with ordinary onions and their chemical counterattacks. Over the years, people have come up with all sorts of tricks to try and beat the burn. Some suggest chilling onions in the refrigerator before chopping, which slows down the enzyme reactions and reduces the release of gas. Others recommend cutting under running water or near a fan, which helps disperse the gas before it reaches your eyes. Some even swear by wearing goggles in the kitchen. While these methods don't eliminate the chemistry, they do reduce the concentration of syn-propanethial-S-oxide that makes it into your eyes, giving you a fighting chance against the onion's defenses. Outro. So the next time you find yourself sniffling over a cutting board, remember what's actually happening. Your tears are not random, and your stinging eyes aren't just bad luck. They're the result of a sophisticated chemical defense system triggered by your knife. The onion releases enzymes. Those enzymes create a volatile sulfur gas. That gas hits your eyes, turns into acid, and your body responds with tears. It's a perfect chain reaction, and one that scientists continue to study because it combines biology, chemistry, and human experience in such a dramatic way.